Hello again, and welcome back to the vlog. This is our third episode, and it's kind of a little bit of a surprise because I came home for a week in between the end of classes and like the start of our kind of like summer JHSA boot camp sort of thing. We're getting started, and I'm back at my local farm, hometown farm, where I normally in the summers previously would like lead trail rides, and at one point had a role of assistant barn manager just for the summer. It's kind of the place I learned everything I know about horses, and I came back to help out for the week just because I was free. There's always a need for extra hands around the farm, and when I got here, I talked to my previous trainer and also boss, Alicia, and she shared with me that there was an auction happening, like literally right down the road. It was being hosted by the Fawn Equestrian Center, and she knew that there were going to be a lot of really good hunter prospect horses there, and we are still looking for 2 horses for the team, and one of them being the green prospect for the grant. So I saddled up this horse, Honey, that I actually helped train a couple summers ago. She's a sweetheart. She is now one of our lead trail horses here at the barn. And so I just saddled her up and took her down the road to the auction. So I got the chance to look around at some of the horses before the auction got started. The morning were the purchases, the evening were like leases. I'd never seen leased horses be auctioned off, but it happened. I actually bid on a couple of the horses in the purchasing for the morning. I lost all of them. There were 2 that I was really interested in because they would have been prospects for our green grant. But, with that grant, I have around 3,000 Jorvik shillings. Plus, we've got some funds that like I and other teammates would be willing to put into a horse if, we could work out the legal pieces of it. But these horses, they'd start a bid around 1,000, and I was like, oh good, this is well within our range, we'll hopefully be able to get the horse, and then it would quickly escalate to like 20 grand. A couple of them got up to 60, a few of them even reached 100 and over, like 100,000 Jorvik shillings and over. I have no idea how these people are affording this, but they must have some pretty big operations. And I think there are a lot of out of town bidders because the local farms around here cannot support that kind of price. These hunter horses that they were bidding on, that I lost bets on, or bids on, not bets. Anyhow, they were doing like 2, 3, and 3 foot and going for 100,000 Jorvik shillings. That's insanity. Like Olympic level horses go for that, and Olympic is far above 3 feet in the hunter ring. It really blew my mind. I left for a bit because I was pretty discouraged, and I just had to step away for a minute. Came back later that evening when I knew the leases were being auctioned off, and I noticed there were a lot less people there for the lease part of it, and that was encouraging because it means fewer people to bid against. And I'm guessing that most people just kind of, they showed up for the purchases. That's really what everybody was there for. The leases were kind of a surprise, so I had a lot better luck going for that. I even just kind of like chilled in the saddle and sat on the side of the fence while watching the first part of the lease auctions. So that was an interesting experience. Bidding from the back of your horse. I actually did end up in a bidding war with one of the more prominent trainers in the region. I didn't realize it at the time. I kept raising my hand to bid on this horse. It was this gorgeous liver chestnut up for lease. And honestly, the competitive nature of the bidding really got to me, and I just kind of started trying to outbid, not really thinking about the money. Maybe that's how some people ended up in 100,000 Jorvik shillings range. But anyhow, there's a timer on the bidding and it counts down, and whoever the last person to bid, when there's a bidding war like this where it's like, back and forth, and there's not a going once, going twice sold call, it's just the timer tracking, counting down. It kind of ends up just being whoever gets in the last word. And it just so happened that this trainer strategized a little better than I did, and when I saw that she had paused raising her hand, I was like, oh great, she doesn't want the horse for any more money than this. And then at the last second she bid, so I didn't have time to counter. But to be completely honest, I was at my max anyhow. I was about to spend maybe my entire year's savings on one lease fee for a horse, so it's probably blessing in not so much of a disguise that I was outbid by the trainer. So congrats to her and her new liver chestnut hunter. That looks like an amazing prospect. I am excited to see what she does with it. I do hope to be able to follow that horse and see what they end up doing. Later in the evening, another horse came up for a lease auction, and this was a bay mare. She was on the smaller side, and she's pretty young. She's 6 again, kind of like Royale. She's she's like a smaller version of Royale is what I saw when I saw her walk in the arena. And so the introduction said that she's done a Western and English training, but she still needs more miles put on her. She's not, she could do jumping, but she hasn't really done a lot of it. And really the main reason that she was being leased out, or, looking for kind of a new home, lease to own type of situation, was just because the barn that her owner had her at now, she didn't really get along with the horses in the pastures. And so she kind of got bullied, and they've not been able to find a solution for it. And the owner needs to stay at this barn for other reasons. And so the horse had to be leased out, and they were looking for a good home for her. And of course, all the buyers at this auction were vetted before they came, so no worries about it's being just auctioning off your horses just because. We all had to prove that we had a place for the horse to go, that we had the funds to support our max bid, which I barely did with that last bidding round, but anyhow, I still was within my limits, barely. And this horse was for a much lower value. She her bid started out around 4,000 Nordic shillings, and I bid up to 4,500, and thankfully that was as high as anybody was willing to go on her. And I think that's mainly because she was one of the last horses to go, and people had already kind of found what they were looking for, and she was a surprise. And so I got her. I am so happy that we finally have found a horse that we are going to be able to take on. Briefly got to talk with her owner afterwards. We're still working out paperwork, and there's going to be a quarantine period obviously, but she is a lease to own situation, so we will end up paying more than 4,500 for her, but if it's spread out across monthly payments, then it's not going to be a problem, and she will be mine at the end of this. Very lucky that we found her, frankly, that I came home, that I found out about this auction from my old boss, that I showed up at it, that I got outbid in the morning for the purchased horses, and then I got outbid by that big liver chestnut where I was going to spend like my life savings on it, and then there she was at the end. So it all works out. Thank you guys so much for checking in with me, and I will follow up with more info on this new mare to join us, and some more info on what the team's going to be doing over the summer in the next vlog. So I'll see you then. Bye.